Hi, I'm Stephen Han, and today I want to look at the 2018 Drive X. It's a new boat for 2018, which I knew nothing about. This 12-year-old, 13-year-old comes into my shop who shoots a mini burner and says, I want to buy a Drive. I'm like, it's a bit heavy for you because the 2017 Drive was a fairly heavy bow and also it only had 10 pounds of adjustment, and he was shooting 40 pounds. So I was like, okay, you want the 50-pound bow? He goes, no, I want to look at the 60-pound bow. I'm like, that won't adjust. He goes, I think it does. I've looked it up. So anyway, I walk back out here. This is where all my bows are. And I was like, do I even have a 2018 Drive? And what's the difference? I thought it was the same. So I go to this area here and I'm like, oh wow, I've got 2018 Drives. Now what's changed in the 2018 Drive we're going to have a look at. Now the first things to change is the colors. The Drive for 2018 comes in camo, which I did last year, Skullworks, Cryptic, which is new for 2018. It comes in black and also charcoal. So let's see, it comes in 50 pounds, 60 pounds, and 70 pounds. And I only have right-handed, and one of my viewers said, does it come in left-handed? I'm pretty sure it does, but so I'm going to try and find a charcoal here. Here's a charcoal. Now with the PSE boxes, they have little codes on the back of them just here. So when I go out the back to look for a bow, the CH indicates charcoal, so hopefully when we get inside this box it's going to be charcoal. So let's take this out to the shop floor, open it up, we're going to put an arrow rest on it. I'm going to show you the difference between the 2017 2018, compare it to the bow below it and above it, and then we're going to shoot it at 18 meters and shoot it through a chronograph and see what sort of speeds we get. Okay, so before we look at the 2018 Drive, let's look at the 2017 Drive. Now the 2017 Drive was one of the most popular bows sold. What made it popular was a machine riser, 335 feet per second, and not a bad weight. And the price point on this was excellent. It was about $700 odd Australian. So it was quite fast, light, adjustable, and it jumped beyond the speeds of the Stinger, which was the most popular selling bow. So for an extra $200, you were getting a bow that performed like a $1,000 bow. So this was the most popular bow. Now, one of the problems with this Drive was the limb bolts. So people buy 70-pound bows and they try and get them for the first time. They can't budge them or they derail the cams. So they try and basically wind out the limb bolts past where they should go. Now, all the PSEs come with a thing to say how many turns you can wind this bow out. They wind it out too far and they strip the limb bolts in the riser. So in 2017, I think I had 2 risers stripped out, which isn't bad out of 700, but still that was an issue. The cams themselves were solid. It's a hybrid cam, so a yoke at the top and just one module down the bottom to adjust the draw length. So let's look at the 2018 model. Now the 2018 model, unlike the 2017 model, comes with a hat, to the best of my knowledge. So it comes with this little hat, instruction manual. This is the grey. This is the same grey or charcoal that you'll see across the entire PSE line. It's like a powder sort of coat. It's a bit rough. It's a nice looking finish. Now the cams are identical to last year. So the same shape, hybrid cam. It's a round well at the top, so you've got no timing issues between top and bottom. All the draw length is done at the bottom, adjustment, and the draw length is adjustable on this bow from 25 inches to 31 inches. Last year it was 25.5 to 30.5. Now what's changed for the 2018 model? They've changed the limb pivots just here. So now you can see the adapter there, so you can't strip it out basically. You can see how far you can wind it. Nice and simple for the beginner. They've also made this bow lighter, so they've made it about half a pound lighter, 3.7 pounds, making it almost identical to the PSE Stinger in physical mass weight. So the riser's been redesigned, there to there. So you've got more cutouts. You've dropped the speed of the 2018 model. It's dropped from a 335 feet bow to a 332 feet per second bow. I still think it'll be quick. They've changed the string stop from metal to a carbon rod, so that's an advancement. Price is the same price point as 2017. Limb dampeners in the 2018 model, they don't exist in the 2017 model. So basically, it's pretty good. Now I want to just show you the bows down and the bow up. This is the PSE Stinger, the biggest selling bow. It comes in a whole heap of colors for 2018. Price point at about $500. Great adjustable bow. About the same weight as the Drive, adjustable from 21 to 30 inches. This is the biggest selling bow based on its price point, because most people come in and it's a nice price point for the market. 32 inches long, axle, and you'll see the Drive is just a fraction shorter in length. So the Drive should be a little bit harder to shoot than the Stinger, being a single cam. But for 3D archery, where you've got to judge the distances and hunting, the Drive's going to I'm going to say going to be superior to the Stinger. Stinger's still a great bow, but it's going to be a little bit easier. Now this is the PSE Epix machine riser, 32 inches, axle, so same as the Stinger. Same hybrid cams as you see on the Drive. Price point on this about $850, so $150 extra. And what are you getting? Getting a machine riser, and you're getting a bow 2 inches longer, so a little bit more forgiving to shoot for an extra $150. A good selling bow. So, okay, the quick points about this: you've got multiple sight holes here, so you can change your sight up and down. There is no spot down the bottom for a rear mount stabilizer, so if you want to fit a rear mount stabilizer, you have to fit one of the ones from like Shrewd, which goes into this hole here on the side. It's got the standard spot for a two-piece PSE quiver there and there. The balance of the bow, just there, is perfect. It just looks great. It really does. And for the price, really good, and the weight feels really good. Now you've got a full 15 turns of weight adjustment in these limbs. So the 60-pound bow, I wound out 14 pounds, 14 turns, and I think I got it back to about 37 pounds. So it'll probably go to 36. So heaps of weight adjustment. But the big thing for me, I love the weight adjustment because it means now this is suitable for beginners. I love the fact that you really are not going to strip this bow out through overwinding the bow. Plastic limb pockets, which is the negative, they don't come really into the PSE lineup until the $1,000 price point. Now, have I ever had a plastic limb pocket fail? No, I haven't, ever. So yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fit an arrow rest to this, a D-loop, and fit the sight, and let's go and see how this thing shoots. Now on all my bow tests, I fit a basic whisker biscuit to the bow because they're nice and simple. In fact, the first Drive I sold, the customer asked me, shall I fit a drop away? And for me, the price point, the biscuit is just really simple. So I'm just going to say, keep life simple. There's a lot to be said for keeping life simple. So the first thing I do is fit the arrow rest. So I bolt it on, I make sure the whisker biscuit is, at 90 degrees to the riser. And then I line up the string with the little lines on the PSE riser, which hopefully you can see just there. So I look at it from behind and I line it all up to make it all in a straight line. So it's the center of the grip, and I want the arrow to be straight down the center of that line. Now when it comes to tuning a bow, I roll my eyes. I'm going to say don't overthink it. I mean, I've been shooting the little Perform 50 pound with 60 pound arrows. Haven't tuned the bow. I've literally just set it up the way you've seen me do here. I shot a great score with it with no sight settings. So wrong arrows. I'm not making excuses for it, but it was a great score. And if I had sight settings and I had a telescope, they would have been even better score, which would have been a really big score. So, and that's an untuned bow. So because the bow will shoot the same every arrow, regardless of whether it's timed or not, it will still shoot the same arrow. It's us, the archer, who has massive variation. I'm not saying don't time your bow, but don't lose. Don't worry about too much is what I'm sort of saying. As long as it's set up basics, arrow on the string at 90 degrees, arrow straight down the center of the riser, it's going to be pretty good to go. And when I do these reviews, I do exactly what you see here. I just bolt on the sight, I shoot the thing, and you can see what sort of results I get, and that's with no stabilizers, no peep sight. And the stabilizers will give you a huge advantage. The driver was one of my favorite bows. I shot my cousin's got a drive. I shot that around a field course. I really like the bow. It's price pointed really, really well. And I'm just going to move the sights. So the sights are generally on the left-hand side of the arrow, so I'm just going to move those across just a smidge. I won't know about the height until I physically shoot it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the top pin up just in anticipation that it's going to be up a little bit. Now when you're setting your sights, if you're sort of new to archery, you move your sights in the direction of the arrow. So if the arrow shoots high, you move your sight high. If it shoots left, move your sight left. We have 5 pins. I generally have them set at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 being the biggest shot we take. So that's what my sight looks like. I have one sight being fractionally high. Now I'm going to fit a D-loop. And we're going to fit, I don't know, let's fit a green one. Now when you tie a D-loop, it's that knot there, and they're in opposite formation. So one way it's pointing towards you and one way it's pointing away from you. So just jump up. There, that's what your D-loop should look like. So one's pointing towards you and one's pointing away from you. Now at this stage I can just slide it up and down to get it at 90 degrees. I use T-square to get 90 degrees. You can have your arrow slightly high. It gives the arrow a little bit of direction coming out of the bow. And when I say a little bit high, I just mean just like a bit thicker than paper high. And I use, now if you don't have D-loop pliers, which are those things there, you can just use a pair of pliers and try and pull it. But the D-loop pliers just make life pretty simple normally. I just put a little bit of tension on though, just check to make sure it's in the right spot. Because if I pull them really tight, I can't then alter it. And that's it. There's my D-loop, RRS fitted, sight fitted. Let's go and try this bow out. Let's try the draw cycle. Let's see how it feels. Shoot it through a chronograph and let's shoot 18 meters and see how it goes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is try the draw cycle of this bow. The hybrid cam's a very smooth cam system, and the speed of the bow, IBO, is 332. So this bow should be fairly easy to draw. It's set at 60 pounds. Factory set at 29 inches. I'm 28.5, so should be pretty good. Now the grip on this bow to start with, because I start to draw it, the grip feels narrow. So how narrow? It's probably not as narrow as a Hoyt, but it's narrower than the more modern, when I say the more modern PSEs, the Evolve 35, the Shoot Down, the Expression. This is a narrower grip, very similar to the Stinger grip, almost identical. And I just want to talk about grips just while I'm here. That's the grip position there, not like that. You do that, you're going to derail the bow. Only because I had 2 derails. And I always used to put in about my video about derailing the bow. You grip the bow, you're going to derail the bow because you torque it. So get the grip correct. Let's just draw this bow back. So it starts off, it's pretty solid. Valley, 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 stop. So it's dead stop back here. So that valley, I'm just going to let this bow down. So the bow itself to draw back is actually pretty solid to start with, and then you've got this massive long valley. So for a beginner, you're not going to, if you let off the pressure a little bit, it's not going to fly forward in your hand, and that's why this bow is not getting the big speeds that you'll get with the other bows, because it's got such a long valley in it. But it feels easy. Let off is probably, I mean, look it up, it feels like it's 70-75%. It doesn't feel like a big let off. Like, you know, some of the bows you get over the peak and it just drops. That's not the case with this bow. This is, it rolls over, you know, strong, valley, 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 dead stop. It's like a big long valley. I'm going to take this shot. Let's see what it feels like. I reckon there's more vibration in this bow than the drive last year, and that's because the bow's lighter than last year. The bow slightly came up in my hand like so, and that's because the pressure point's down here. Stabilizer will get rid of that. But overall, the bow's nice and light, great for beginners, and faster than the Stinger by far. So let's just take another shot. Now to me, that bow feels lovely to shoot. I love the hybrid cams that they're using, that PSE uses. They're just a lovely cam to draw and shoot. So now we're going to go back to 18 and we're going to see what sort of grips I can do. This bow wasn't sighted, as you saw. I just basically put the sight on, shot the target. They went high in the 10. We're at like 5-6 meters. So now we're just going to go back to 18 with that same sight setting, and let's see where they are. Okay, so I haven't shot an arrow since those first 2, and we're just going to see where this arrow lobs in the target. So normally I shoot a couple of arrows practice before you get to see it, 1 or 2. We're just going to shoot this, so I feel pretty confident. Now with the drive, and I want to talk about PSE. The drive's been in the PSE lineup for years. It used to be the Brute, and they had the Brute last year as well, the Brute and the drive together. They dropped the Brute and combined it with the drive. So the drive's literally been in the lineup since the start. And what they do every year is they make the bow a little bit better. And this year they've taken a huge jump, in my opinion. They've made the bow lighter, which is what you want. I mean, to me, your goal's a 4-pound bow, and they've gone lighter than that at 3.7. You're looking for a bow, you know, the top end bows, you're probably looking around a 335, a 340 feet per second bow for hunting. 332. 30 inches axle is a good hunting size. I prefer 32, but that's just personal preference. It's just a nice finished overall product, and you know, like the carbon string stop, a good improvement. It's just, I'm not sure what that little sticker is there. See that? That's weird. That's obviously not meant to be there. It's meant to be somewhere. I don't know. We'll probably find out where that sticker's meant to be at some point in time. I'll just grab it off. That's what it is. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure where it's meant to go, but I don't know. We'll just put it on the back. Anyway. Now the arrows I use are VAP 350 Sports with 140 grain point, 29 inches. I'm shooting pin systems at the back end to protect the arrows. These are the sport arrows. These are the cheap ones. These are my target arrows. So I shoot cheap target arrows for my target shooting. I'm not into spending big money unless I can see the benefits of it. So if someone said an arrow twice the price will shoot a better score, I'd buy it. So. Well, I'd probably shoot a side of the bow in, because you probably won't even be able to see it on GPS. Now, as far as this draw cycle, the Evolve cam system has been huge for PSE. It's been a very smooth cam system to shoot, very adjustable in let off and draw length. This cam system, in my opinion, is really good. It's one of the best cam systems. It's easy to draw. 60 pounds is not hurting my shoulder at all. Now I'll just run down there to see if I can actually see it on the other camera, because those two arrows hit each other. Now I'm going to move my sight up. I'm going to move the whole sight picture just up a little bit, because otherwise it's not a good representation of basically how well this bow shoots. And for me, I'm actually interested in how well this bow shoots, because this is one of my biggest sellers. And a lot of it is how I shoot. Today's really hot. I've been on the roof of my house most of the day, trying to keep pigeons out. But I think that's in the middle, but I can't see. So we'll just shoot the rest of these arrows and we'll just see where they go. Now today my mum phoned up, and you're probably going to say, what's this got to do with the bow review? And she said, you sold the guy the wrong size draw length. He should be 32. I went, that's your opinion. Now, with what I do is I relax this front arm here. I don't want people to be hyperextended like so. So I'll shoot with slightly bent arm. And when I shot the Stealth for the review the other day, that was 27 inches, and that was by mistake because the bow had been set up previously for another archer. But I still shot fine. I obviously would have preferred a 28.5. But as long as the draw length's not too long, the bow's, you know, you just bend your front arm and it's generally pretty comfortable. And the customer literally was shooting fine with it, so yeah. So I was pretty happy with his 30-inch draw length, and he was a little bit taller than me, and I'm 28.5, so. This bow just is easy to shoot. And I feel like when I first shot those first shots, I said there's more vibration in the first drive, and now I'm sort of shooting more shots. I'm not feeling anything at all. There may be vibration, it may be kicking, but I'm not feeling anything at all. It just feels nice and smooth. It honestly feels like 50 pounds. The pin settles on the center of the target easy. It's not moving around. My pin's probably moving around the 10 ring. The shot before, it did move into the 9, and I moved it back up to the 10 just before the shot was made. So I'm hoping they're kind of in the middle. I don't know, but we'll see. One of the things I look at too is trying to keep the shoulder down. It's I know, let's go and see where they went, because I've got no idea. Siders, which were close, there were the two which hit the 10. Now my arrow, my fingers, I can't get around the whole group. So it's not as good as the bows I've been shooting. So I shot the Perform. I think I did, last reviews I did with the Perform. The target bow from Toe Point, where I put them all in the 10. Stinger review I know I did well with that. This is not as good. It's like, it's not bad. If the sights were kind of, if my sights were set, that'll be in the gold. But not as good and not as tight. Now the bow feels easier to shoot. But what I find with the shorter bows, I just find I get a little bit more inconsistency, and this could be purely me, right? Could be me, but I just find with the longer bows, I just generally shoot tighter groups. And that's why your target bows tend to be longer. And when it comes to the Perform, that comes in the 36 and the 40-inch version, that's why I'm going for the 40. I don't know if I'll shoot any better, and when it comes next week, we're going to do a test on it. But for me, like that group, I'm not disappointed. I'm not over the moon with. They felt like they went in the middle. They felt like good shots. And you know, like that group there, I could put in the middle. Those two are obviously touching, but it's like not too bad, but not anything extraordinary. But the bow feels nice to shoot. Nice draw cycle, nice and fast, and very light. So let's put it through the chronograph and see what sort of speeds we get. Okay, so for all my tests, I use a gold tip velocity. I've been using these arrows literally forever. These are the ones I used to use for 3D. They've got a 90 grain point. They're a 400 spined arrow. They weigh at 330 grains all up. And I'm shooting 60 pounds at 29 inches. Now the last test I did was the Perform 3D, and the speed I got for that was 312, and that was a 336 feet per second bow. So, and that was a target bow. So I'm going to be really interested to see what sort of speed I get out of this bow. $290, way under what I would expect to get, because the Perform was 336, I got 312, and this is 332. 4 feet per second slower it's meant to be, and this dropped the speed back 20 feet per second off the Perform. $293, so 293, 290. Like the fast bows are shooting 300, but that PSE Perform, man, that is, for a target bow, big brace height, that is a fast bow. I mean, it's faster than your hunting bow, and it's target. Amazing. $290, so 290, 290, 293. That's the PSE Drive X limb graphics for 2018 from PSE. I really like the bow. One of my favorite bows for a price point. So if you're new to archery, basically on a budget, this should be right at the top of your alley as far as bows. Now on the accuracy, I tell a lot of people the Epix, because it is 2 inches longer. It's $150 extra, and that's Australian dollars. And it's just going to be a little bit easier to shoot. So for $150, you're getting that bow which is just a little bit better and bigger, and your grip should come a little bit tighter. But if you can shoot this bow well, you'll shoot fine with it. It's just, I find with shorter axle, I just find I move around a little bit more twitchy, I suppose is the way to put it. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, PSE Drive, awesome little bow. Go and check it out at your local dealer. Thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so I finished the review and I'm walking inside. I'm going, that bow's not very fast. It doesn't make sense to me. Then I looked at the module. This was straight out of the box. It said on E. Now the bow's maximum draw length is 30.5, which is A. B would be 30. C would be 29.5. D would be 29, and E would be 28.5, which is why the draw length was perfect for me. Now that half an inch is definitely going to add speed to that draw, to that shot. So this bow should come out of the factory at 29. I think it's 28.5. Anyway, that half an inch is probably going to add 5 feet per second to the bow. 5-6 feet per second, so probably closer to 300 feet per second. Still well down on the Perform 3D, but that's really unusual for PSE. And I thought from the specs before I did this review, I thought it was 31 to 25. I thought, but the data card here says 25 to 30.5. So I don't know. Anyway, that's roughly what it is. So thanks for watching. Bye.